Well, after that generous introduction, I hope I both gave you guys A's in class. Students, I would like to thank you for selecting me for the 5th year in a row as the teacher most likely to have dogs show up in his classroom during Senior Prank Week. I'm not sure if it goes this way, but I think I was actually trending on social media. So there are probably 3 types of graduates here tonight: those who didn't iron their gowns, and those who ironed their gowns, and those who moms ironed their gowns. Most likely there's a strong correlation to how your high school years played out by which group you identified with. The highest compliment of all, well, the highest compliment in my life was when the girl of my life said "I do" over 33 years ago. I love you, Pam. But the second greatest compliment is when the students you care so deeply for choose you to speak to them on their last day as high school students. Thank you, class of 2019. What I've learned over the years, over the past 4 years, besides to never exit the student parking lot when school is over, it's a near-death experience, is so much more than what I'll ever attempt to pass along to you. And I'm sure that long after the lights are dimmed in this beautiful arena, that I'll finally find the right words to share with you. So many of you have asked, how do I feel about speaking at graduation? Well, you know the 5 most compelling words you've taught me as a teacher are, "Mr. Moran, when's the retake?" So without that possibility, I was still a little tentative until Mr. Erickson told me how much I was getting paid to give it. You see, it's quite a distance from my birthplace in the Bronx, New York. Yo, how you doing? How you doing? To the podium here at US Bank Stadium. It's even further from the Delaware River, where one snowy February, this 17-year-old boy cried out in desperate loneliness, wondering if he even mattered. To working 3 jobs in college because nothing was going to stop me from getting that degree. To holding my wife tightly as we wept at the prospect of infertility. To asking our 4 children to trust us as we moved to a strange-sounding town in Minnesota, a place that we've come to call home. To now where this teacher in front of you could never have imagined that such a calling could be placed upon his life. I am so humbled to be here. Students, tonight you've accomplished an incredible milestone. You've showed up on time. Seriously, that's incredible. Well, most of you. You've made it. Tonight you're graduating from one of the finest high schools in the land, and for one night your parents can sit back, enjoy the moment, because starting tomorrow, they're going to begin to hyperventilate about a grad party that costs more than their own wedding. But parents, no worries. Our 4 children graduated from Minnetonka, and 3 of the grad parties took place during downpours, power failures, and a flooded basement. So with the 4th child, we cut our losses and took a trip. You know, no matter how you decide to acknowledge this special day, it's all good. Just enjoy it. A few years ago, my daughter and I sailed from Mackinac Island to Chicago in my brother-in-law's sailboat. It was breathtaking. As we navigated around several storms and on one occasion sailed through the night, it kept coming back to the idea that without a compass that points true north, we might easily sail off course and face the risks that go along with sailing. Sailing, perhaps more than any other activity, tests the very core of an individual. It demands that you take all the necessary measures and recognize what essentials are required for each journey. Yet with even all the planning, you're at the mercy of the elements. And what sailing has taught me is that life is an adventure to be lived, and that corrections can and should be made. You see, it's difficult for me to stand here today and imagine to live a life that's not away from the safety of the harbor. So what becomes of a person as they journey through life? when storms throw you off course and you've placed your confidence, and what you've placed your confidence in is being put to the test. For some tonight, your course is well charted, and though there may be at times that it will take everything you have just to stay the course, the true north setting on your compass has proven to be trustworthy. For some, you've recalibrated several times, and the course you've set seems right for this time of life, for this season of life. In her essay, Ann Dillard, in An Expedition to the Pole, describes the supplies carried by 19th century explorers in their search for the North Pole. Each vessel carried a backup steam engine, a 12-day supply of coal for the 3-year journey, a 1,200-volume library, an organ, china place settings, glass wine goblets, and sterling silver flatware. The expedition, however, carried no special clothing for the Arctic. Years later, Inuit Eskimos came across the frozen remains of the expedition, men dressed in their finery, pulling a lifeboat laden with place settings of sterling silver and some chocolate. Their naivete is almost beyond comprehension, but perhaps that serves as a help to understand what is necessary in order to be better outfitted for our own journey. You see, amongst you tonight sit some of the most honorable people I've ever met. And when I look at the class of 2019, it's obvious that you've begun to see what is needed for life's journey. What essentials are required as you travel away from the safety of the harbor. I've seen it through your personal actions, your desire to care for and protect those who have been affected by forces far beyond and out of their control. Your enthusiasm to serve, not only through Senior Serve, but beyond. I've seen the dedication of open-enrolled students who for many years have made the commitment, an extra commute, just to be a part of this wonderful Minnetonka community. I've seen you mentor your younger students in the classes, in the hallways, and how you've cared for and grieved with and consoled one another. Many whose journey here tonight has been defined by the loss of a mom or a dad, a brother or a sister, a grandparent, classmate, and teammate. Students, we share with you our deepest love and our highest regard. You are united tonight by much more than a blue wrinkled gown. On the other side, your dedication is also seen by how truly conscientious you are. I mean, I've never seen a class organize a senior skip day only to make sure they were excused on Skyward before they actually skipped school. That's bold. You're bold. I've seen that somewhere around junior year you've decided that formative assignments became negotiable. And that the senior slide is so contagious that thanks to you, some freshmen are trying it out. And your affection for Daryl, hi Daryl, wherever you are, is so strong that it's worth the tardy stop at the Cove on the way to first hour. Rumor has it next year with the new Starbucks on Frontage Road, Minnetonka is going to insert a tardy kiosk in the drive-thru just to keep things moving. Sitting here tonight, we've all realized how slow a day can go and how quickly a year can pass, and that seasons change with or without our permission. In World War II, during the Battle of Okinawa, Desmond Doss, a U.S. Army medic, found himself in a major storm. In the heat of battle, Private Doss took the task of bringing wounded soldiers safely down a ridge, aptly called Hacksaw Ridge. The catch was that Desmond was a conscientious objector, and he would never use a weapon. He had been cruelly harassed as being a coward for his beliefs. However, through his bravery and dedication to the calling, Doss lowered 75 soldiers to safety, despite being injured himself. His battle cry, "Just one more," earned him the Congressional Medal of Honor. The courage of some individuals to sail away from the safety of the harbor directly into the potential storms reminds us all, life may sometimes require everything we have, all the while counting the cost. Students, you cannot let a fear of failure or a fear of comparison or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what's going to make you honorable. You cannot succeed without the risk of failure. You cannot heal without forgiveness. And you cannot love without the risk of loss. It's been beautifully stated that he is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep in order to gain what he cannot lose. So let me ask you, who's your one more? Oh, how we long for this. An adventure that draws upon our every faculty, a great life's work we can throw ourselves into to do something of meaning and value that flows naturally out of the gifts and capacities of our souls. To express with great enthusiasm the statement, I was made for this. My dear students, I love this class. Everything you do in life, every battle that you fight, and every mountain that you climb, no matter how many times you may fall, may be for no other purpose than to prepare you for that moment when you're called upon to make a difference in this world. You may get only one chance to make that difference, but there is no doubt that such a moment is going to come in each of your lives. The only question is, will you be ready? Class of 2019, I'd like to ask you one simple favor in closing. Come back. Well, I don't really need to say that because Minnesotans always come back. Like, what's up with that? But come back after you've graduated from college, perhaps served in the military, found your first real paying job, and have permanently moved back into your parents' basement. But come back and share with us your journey. Come back and teach us and lead us, mentor us. Share with us your successes and even the storms you've faced. Tell us what it's like to sail in the open seas. My journey in deep abiding faith has led me from the Bronx, New York, to this podium tonight. I'm here because of you. Because in light of the storms that I have sailed through in my own life, I've always imagined that there was a greater purpose, a higher calling, a hope-filled adventure to live. I'm here to tell you tonight that it's time for you to begin your journey. And someday in the not too far distant future, to let us know that you're sailing. Thank you so much.